Hello, good afternoon. My name is Lisa, and today we are here for the Jewish Museum London's online Object Talk series, Wednesday Wisdom. This month, we are going to be looking at an object that focuses on Remembrance Day, which is on the 11th of November. Remembrance Day is an international day to remember those individuals who've served in the military around the world. Our collection contains over 40,000 objects, some of which remember the Jewish individuals who've served for Britain. So I'm going to share my screen and show you our first object. Lovely. So this is an oil painting of Alexander Cohen from 1803. It shows him in the uniform of the 10th Regiment of the Loyal London Volunteers. The volunteer regiments were formed in Britain in response to the fear of an invasion from France, led by Napoleon. It was put into plan in 1794, and many volunteers signed up very quickly. In just 2 months, between March and May, 72 voluntary infantry regiments were raised, along with 32 cavalry regiments, and that number continued to grow. On the 21st of June, 1799, the king inspected the Loyal Volunteers of London, and there were recorded as being just over 12,200 men. As you may have guessed, with the word loyal in the title, there was a lot of strong propaganda linked to these regiments. The loyalty of British men in volunteering for the war, and in such large numbers, was highly celebrated, and prints and publications were made showing men in the uniform of the different regiments, outlining all the drill positions and just generally celebrating the regiments. This portrait of Alexander Cohen, of course, reflects the same sense of pride, although in this case, it shows just one individual as opposed to many. We do not know the name of the artist or the circumstances of the painting, just that it is dated to 1803. We know that this is the same year that Alexander Cohen enrolled in the Loyal London Volunteers, because attached to the back is his certificate of enrollment. Now it's quite faded, but it says, "I do hereby certify that the bearer, Alexander Cohen, of a swarthy complexion and 5 feet 5 inches high, is enrolled and serves in the 10th Regiment of Loyal London Volunteers, and that he has taken the oath of allegiance to the King." It is dated 24th of October, 1803. Now, this was an important time to join the regiment. There were more than 100,000 enemy troops stationed in northern France at this time, and an invasion was thought to be imminent. And by the end of 1803, there were over 380,000 volunteers. By 1805, however, it was looking much less likely that an invasion would take place. And 10 years later, after the Battle of Waterloo, the Napoleonic War was ended. The voluntary regiments were gradually merged and eventually disbanded. However, their legacy and patriotism has lasted a long time and is seen as a very impressive display of loyalty and patriotism. This portrait is really important because it gives us a record of Jewish military service before it was officially recognized with Jewish recruitment campaigns and regiments and so on. It's also an important object because it's one of the earliest objects we have in our collection that relates to Jewish military service. It's quite difficult to find many records of Jewish people serving for Britain much earlier than this. However, after the First World War, Jewish contribution has been more formally recognized. The British Jewry Book of Honor was published in 1922 in London to permanently record and honor the contribution made by the 50,000 Jewish people who served in the British and colonial forces during the First World War. This was significant because there had been a lot of anti-Semitism, including accusing Jewish people of not fighting for Britain. The period before the First World War saw huge amounts of Jewish migration to Britain. In just 20 years, the Jewish population went from 46,000 to around 135,000, nearly tripling. When war broke out in 1914, many of these Jewish immigrants believed that they now had a duty to fulfill to fight for Britain, the country who had taken them in and offered refuge and allowed them to rebuild their lives. Many recruitment posters filled the East End, where the majority of the Jewish community at the time was based, urging Jewish people in English and in Yiddish to fight for Britain. The British Jewry Book of Honor was edited by Reverend Michael Adler, who was the first Jewish chaplain to serve in the British forces. The book describes Jewish enlistment, military honors, casualties, different Jewish units, and the work of Jewish organizations, agencies, and hospitals as well. It also contains alphabetical lists of those who were killed in action, who were awarded various military honors, who served, listed by regiment and the active service. There are some indexed photographs of many of these individuals as well, and letters of support and acknowledgement from both members of the Jewish community and non-Jewish as well. The publication of this book was an important milestone in ensuring that the contribution of the Jewish community to the British military was recognized. The very first Remembrance Day was held on the 11th of November, 1919 at 11 a.m., exactly 1 year after the armistice, which ended the First World War. Since then, nations around the world mark this day as Remembrance Day, as we remember those who have served not only in the First World War, but in all the wars and conflicts that have occurred around the world since. Today, we remember Alexander Cohen and his service for Britain in the loyal London Volunteers, and of course, the many thousands of Jewish people who have served and continue to serve around the world today. So thank you so much for joining me for this Remembrance Day object talk. From the 1st of December and throughout the winter, we will be bringing back our weekly object talks every Wednesday at 12 noon. We are really excited to continue to share our collection with you, and we hope you will join us. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we will see you on Wednesday, the 1st of December at 12 noon for an object talk on the theme of Hanukkah. Bye for now.